mail-in ballots are going to end up being a disaster. Small elections were a disaster. Small, very easy to handle elections were disastrous. This is a large-scale version, and it's getting worse and worse every day. We're hearing stories that are horror stories, absolute horror stories. And we can't let that happen to the United States of America. It's not a question of who wins, Republican, Democrat, Joe, myself. We can't let that happen to our country. We can't be disgraced by having something like this happen. So it will be hopefully cleared up, maybe soon, I hope soon, but it'll probably go through a process, a legal process. And as you know, I've claimed certain states, and he's claiming states, and we can both claim the states, but ultimately I have a feeling judges are going to have to rule. But there's been a lot of shenanigans, and we can't stand for that in our country. Thank you very much.
No questions. No questions.
Are you being a sore loser?
Are you being a sore loser? That's funny.
It's tough to watch. It's tough to watch, and I keep getting caught up in the whole Trump train thing every once in a while. I have to keep coming back to your channel to bring me back down to reality. I try to get behind him sometimes.
Yeah,
it's just too much.
The tribal games really get you sucked into just like fearing and hating the threat of who you believe is the more evil candidate, and everybody's losing sight of how controlled it all is. And what it looks like now is, Trump just alluded that whole press conference to that the left is cheating and that they're going to get it figured out. And everybody's talking online that there's some sting operation, that they put some watermark on the ballots at the last minute.
Is this another Q?
It is
conspiracy, or is this?
It is.
Yeah.
And Steve Pachenik just said it on InfoWars with Owen Schroyer.
Oh boy. Great.
Before I show that, though, joined by Derek Rance at the Plaid Army, we're still waiting on your partner there, Raging Humanist, your co-host, I guess I should say. I don't want to give people the wrong idea with partner. But where is he, Raging? Where are you? I see that he's hosting, so he's got to be on the computer.
Yeah, he definitely wants to be here, so he's got to be trying to get in on that our Skype call.
Yeah, let me see. I don't know if we need to call him again.
The Trump
or what
character.
The deal is.
Oh, maybe the whole Trump character. I feel like the states. You guys have been working on this anti-hero archetype for a while, since like Stone Cold Steve Austin and all the action movies and stuff. So the population is going to eat it up that he's against the media and against the big guy and all that stuff. It's a great storyline.
Kind of like a bad guy villain that's like up against the whole world. A little bit. Well, here's some. I got a ton of news to go through today, and we just got to bring us in with that press conference, which is a perfect segue to what we're going to be talking about. The Democracy on the Ropes is the title of the video. The other title I was going to go for was Banana Republic, and that's the term that Don Jr. just used in a tweet. If I can find it here. Okay, I guess
that's what.
And
a lot of people are calling
for
Canada
total war. What?
Everybody has been calling Canada a banana republic for a while now.
Why?
Well, Justin Trudeau. I mean, nobody is getting in his way. The guy is borrowing more and more money off international banks and just giving it away to other countries, trying to get himself a seat on the UN.
Yeah, it does seem like he's really running things up there. So this is what Don Jr. said a couple hours ago. He says, the best thing for America's future is for Trump to go to total war over this election, to expose all of the fraud, cheating, no longer state voters that has been going on for far too long. It's time to clean up this mess and stop looking like a banana republic. It seems like they know something. They're very confident that they're going to come up with some kind of cheating going on. And quite frankly, the left is, I mean, would anybody really doubt that the left would try to cheat? Like 4 years of saying Trump is Hitler, in their mind, how would it not be the moral, ethical thing to do to try to cheat in any means necessary to take Hitler out of power, you know?
Well, if that's how they view him as a literal Nazi. They're going to feel that they're morally obliged to take whatever steps it takes to get him out of power, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. And they're not even hiding it.
But
They're making it look so obvious right now. The Twitter censorship, how they're just censoring everything on the right, the massive purges that happened right before, the media's complete ignoring of the Biden laptop, not letting poll watchers, the whole thing about stopping counting the votes in these swing states that Trump was up, and then now they're just like saying count every vote, like as if they know that they're just going to keep coming up with fake ballots or something until they have enough to win.
That was a slogan I picked up on as well, was the idea that they say we got to count every vote, count every vote. It reminds me of when Nancy Pelosi was saying testing, testing, testing. We just have to keep going out and doing testing. You know, these lines that they want to catch on, count every vote,
Mm-hmm.
you know, build back better.
Yeah, did you see? I thought Build Back Better was like an international COVID motto that they had, but I saw that Biden started a website, a transition website called Build Back Better. And that's the other thing. Biden's able to announce victory and they're able to say whatever they want. And Twitter's just not censoring them at all. And it's so frustrating. Ted Cruz and Trump, and they're all complaining about censorship now, but they all support censorship if it's of anti-Semites, and said nothing but monitoring the situation for 4 years.
Well, they set the stage earlier, didn't they? The big tech demons, Zuckerberg and Dorsey, came on and literally said, they're going to be monitoring this stuff and removing any false information. So we all knew it was coming. And Build Back Better is actually, you can go to the United Nations website and type in Build Back Better. They've been using that slogan since 2017. Okay,
so it's a UN thing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I saw it. I did a video on Boris Johnson that was talking about after World War II, the plan to build the New Jerusalem, and he had Build Back Better on his thing. And I've seen memes where it's just like all over the place, and I'm like, okay, it's Biden's website domain for his transition. Here's a story: Israel 365, Sanhedrin asked God to re-elect Trump. That's a couple days ago. So he is their first choice.
Oh.
Oops.
Well, if God's going to intervene, then we have nothing to worry about.
Here's Steve Pieczenik sharing a tweet. Oh, shoot, I didn't show that. Steve Pieczenik says, have faith. And he shares this article with Trump getting a back massage from Jesus. They say, if Trump won, he was appointed by God. God wanted him to win. So does that mean that God wanted Obama to win? God wanted Clinton? And if Biden wins, that, it's like no matter what, but this is Steve Pieczenik.
Well, God definitely wanted Bush to win so he could start those wars for them. Because one thing we all know that God likes is war.
God of war.
Yeah.
And okay, so we're gonna get into that in just a second. That too. Laura Loomer lost. Here, let's check this out. This is a nice little burn here. She lost decisively to another Zionist Jew in Florida.
Well, a contentious race in Florida's 21st congressional district as well tonight. Democrat Lois Franco, the incumbent, defeated conservative activist Laura Loomer.
Yeah, just an hour after the polls closed, the race was called. The Congresswoman winning with more than 60% of the vote. Any words for your challenger?
What's your name?
Kind of funny for me. I really wanted her to lose. What's her name?
I saw that you were quite happy about it. It really doesn't make a difference which one of them wins, does it?
Well, I do think that Laura is probably more of an open, brazen, chutzpah Zionist extremist.
Did you see the political ad that she actually put out before the election? She was criticizing people that said Israel was committing genocide. Mm-hmm. And what a bad advertisement.
She's going to Congress to stop anti-Semitism and to stand up for Israel. That's what her purpose was. And then these people are supporting her who are supposed America First patriots, and they're saying, she's going to stand up to big tech. It's like, no, she's going to go right along with this, ban anti-Semitism agenda, this anti-Semitism definition that they're pushing worldwide. Just like the governor of her state, Ron DeSantis, flies over with Adelson to Jerusalem and signs the bill that you can't criticize Israel on college campuses.
We just had the same sort of bill passed here in Ontario. I think it was 202, anti-Semitism law. You're not allowed to basically criticize them, even though free speech is encouraged on college campuses, just not against Israel. We actually have a long history of passing bills condemning anti-Semitism. 168, 202.
I just found it. Bill 202, Standing Up Against Anti-Semitism in Ontario Act. Well, that's 2016. No boycotts and other anti-Semitic actions.
Yeah, that one is the anti-BDS one. They were actually outlawing any business that has government contracts, any university or any government body is not allowed to associate or take contracts with somebody that's associated with the BDS movement.
Same thing that they're pushing everywhere here. Okay, I'm not seeing the definition there, but so back to the election a bit, and if you could message Raging and ask if he's having a problem or something getting on. I don't do the two people. It's been a while since I've had two guests on. The crazy Canucks of the Plaid Army. So breaking Trump, he says, we did win this election. This is major fraud on our nation. This will be going to the Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning. And they have been announcing that they're finding all types of new ballots, that they're that some of the precincts like forgot to press upload on something or something like that. I'm seeing there's Raging, says sigh in the comments. What's up, Raging? Why are you not jumping on? Hey, let's play this.
So we won there. We lead by 76,000 votes with almost nothing left. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. We did win this election. So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list. Okay?
So this is interesting to me, because the idea that Trump just says, like, okay, I'm up in this state, but stop counting the votes. I mean, that's sketch too. I would be outraged if the other side was trying that. You can't just say stop the votes, stop counting.
Yeah, it's funny how both sides are going for the opposite thing. Stop the votes is in he wants to stop anything coming in that could be added afterwards once they find out the tallies, and Biden's whole team is going the opposite approach. So you got to count every single one, no matter what time they come in at. So preemptive strikes. I see Jeremy in the chat there.
Yeah,
not in the chat. In
Skype. What's up, Raging? Can you hear us?
Yeah, how are you?
I am good. Let's see if we can find you here. I'm going to show you guys something pretty amazing that, if true, this is going to be shocking and game-changing. So here's Trump again. We are up big, but they are trying to steal the election. We will never let them do it. Votes cannot be cast after the polls are closed. They are just repeating this mantra over and over and over again, and I think it's because they have a little trick up their sleeve, to be honest. I'm going to explain to you guys. And again, Twitter censoring this. Remember years ago when Obama was like, rig the election? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? I've never even heard of such a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's so incredibly frustrating that this kind of stuff, it's right in front of people's faces. It's just like I'm not a particularly smart guy. I'm a regular guy, and I feel like a goddamn genius half the time walking around. Like, do you people not see what's happening? Do you not see how obviously stupid this is? No, they're just stuffing their face with popcorn and Doritos, watching their TV and trusting the plan,
Yeah,
well, I'm glad to see what's happening in the States. I'm hoping that it's going to wake a bunch of Canadians up, to be honest with you, because Justin Trudeau completely stole the last election. Everybody absolutely hated the man, and somehow he still came out winning. I'm
Well,
convinced we have voter fraud up here.
we imported a few million people from the the Middle East and give them free benefits and welfare, and they're allowed to vote. You're a Canadian citizen. If you're here like 2 years, I think you can vote. That's all. You don't even have to. You can't even learn English in that amount of time. It doesn't matter. And then we were saying things like it was an alt-right white supremacist conspiracy theory to say that there's fake votes and fake ballots. There's not this many. What's going on with all these? Where are all these votes coming from? And then I think it was a few months ago that there may have been a few 100,000 fake votes. Yeah. Oh, well, and no one cares. No one ever brings it up. No one ever says anything in Parliament. Nobody challenges anybody. It's just a country of, half the place could be on fire. Trudeau could be raping children to death on TV, and everyone would go, hey, whatever, boys, long as the Leafs and Habs is on, getting served money. The government's paying everybody, basic income already. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, they're fully pushing the universal basic income. And actually, Raging isn't lying when he said it only takes 2 years. It actually takes 3, but you only have to be here 1 day for each year to get your citizenship.
Wow. Who is coming up with these things? I think we know who's behind this agenda.
Communists and people that go to Sport Check and they go to the children's section and they buy the smallest hats. Those people.
Well, here in America, everybody can sleep safe and sound because we have the ADL are going to be stopping hate on Election Day, preventing Election Day violence, the ADL.
Yeah, our version of the ADL, also known as Anti-Hate Canada, just got, 200,000 from the federal government and also 1.6 million from the provincial government to fight hate online.
We got Greenblatt tweeting out today from the ADL. Some misinformation on Twitter surrounding the election has gone unaddressed. A subset of these posts tracked by our experts reached a combined total of 118 million followers with 1.8 million engagements before we flag them for the platform. Full breakdown. So their experts have all this backdoor software capability to track the whole internet and then to tell them to flag and get people taken down. This is the power that they have over our elections, not just our free speech, but our elections.
It sounds almost like, I don't know if you guys remember it was a site like Poker Stars, and they were based out of Costa Rica, and they could see everybody else's hand while they bet, but nobody could see their hand. It kind of feels like that.
Yeah. They can probably get in all of our instant messages, track every comment, everything you do online. We know from the Al Jazeera lobby documentary that Israel's using the most advanced software in Unit 8200 and all their tech and cybersecurity. They've got the election guard of the ballots. They have this on lock. And I think Trump is going to prove that the left was cheating. And then the left is going to be done, and it's going to be like one party, one ruler, Trump, ultra-Zionist agenda after that.
Well, that's been kind of a concern there for a little while, because imagine you could never bring in, that's the old school, the old conspiracy theory going back to the 90s, like old Alex Jones and Bill Cooper and all these guys, like the NWO super state, the police state, you remember all that stuff? Mm-hmm. That would never, now they're talking about, martial law. Trump has to bring in martial law. Now they're encouraging the thing that everybody was afraid of this whole time. And they would never accept this under a Democrat president. Could you imagine Obama trying to bring in martial law? That would never happen. But because, God Emperor Trump is doing it, so it must be good. It's like that. Do you not see the bait and switch here? The carrot on the stick here, guys? This is extremely dangerous. And you just, the Trump. I almost, obviously, who the hell wants Biden to win? But in a way, like I'd almost would be like, it'd be almost kind of a blessing if Trump didn't win, because then it's going to force all these people and these Q people especially to look themselves in the mirror and go, yeah, there is no Batman. Superman's not going to come save you. You don't just win a country. You go, I sat on my couch and I trusted the plan. Oh, right on. That sounds right out of like George Washington's diary, doesn't it? Dear King George, can we please have a country? That would be excellent. Don't worry, good people. Just stay on the couch and trust the plan. And then, and that's how America was formed. It's a joke, it's ridiculous. And where would these people be if there was no Q, if there was none of this stuff? They might actually be, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. They were going to drain the swamp, and they were going to lock her up, and they were going to do, literally none of those things happened. And now we're in we'll just elect him again. If we just elect him a second time, like the whole thing is it's a joke. And,
what's a scary thought is that if this watermark thing comes true on the ballots, everybody is going to go back to trusting the plan and 4 more years of being asleep.
Yeah, definitely with Trump, like a lot of the patriots and kind of conspiracy type people, they've been lulled to sleep and they're complacent and docile and they're trusting the plan and they
they're
think that they're winning
entertained.
because they're beating, they're beating the SJW Bolshevik left, but really they're just, enthusiastically supporting one of the most Zionist presidents America's ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I won't be too sad if Biden does win, because there will be that silver lining. But it is terrifying thinking of the people that can run with the lie that Trump said good people were on both sides and that whites are the biggest enemy in the world. And Biden openly says that he's a proud Zionist and that we're going to be a minority and that's a good thing and that's our strength. And here's Biden meeting with Chabad group in 2010. So they will work with them too. Netanyahu as well says no matter what, he's all good. He will be all right. I have that somewhere, I think. Yeah, there it is. Likud officials said Prime Minister Netanyahu would get along well with Democratic candidate Joe Biden if he won Tuesday's election.
Of course he
bet he
would.
will.
You want to stay in good terms with whoever owns the banks, right? I mean, if both of our nations have been borrowing money off international banks for forever, and when they finally come to collect that debt, it's going to come in the form of the UN. I guess they're the debt collectors, aren't they?
I think they act in that capacity in some degree. Here's a headline. Former Jewish Federation's head wins North Carolina congressional race. Imagine my shock.
Yeah.
And she's an immigration attorney. I wonder what stances she takes on immigration. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
She's Democrat too.
Open borders for Israel. When is that ever going to be a thing?
Oh,
I support the return. I support the right of return for the Black Israelites. I think they should be allowed to go to Israel. I think it's very anti-Semitic to not allow these people to move there.
Yeah, it's funny that the Ashkenazi Jews will call the Black Hebrew Israelites black supremacists for adopting their ideology, like without any realization. Yeah.
It's hilarious, and the emotional conditioning works so well on so many people. They can't even see how hypocritical and ridiculous it is. They both do and say the same things, and it always comes down to the same thing. It always comes out. If you ever get in a fight with these people about this stuff, and then they go, well, like why? Well, the Holocaust every time, and it's like, can you have any concept of how emotionally programmed you are? They made us watch that in school. I think I was like 13 years old, traumatizing kids in middle school with that. With these movies and with this stuff, and it's everywhere. It's in every entertainment venue you can imagine. And I mean, I know we're beating a dead horse here. Everybody knows this stuff, but it's just frustrating. And even our own media up here in Canada, it's no different. If you look at the last names, and of the people that speak here on, especially they're talking about the American election and how, well, Trump's just refusing to accept that he's going to lose, and like what is this? It's so left, and we don't have it's really bad up here for the Americans. 95% of your audience is probably American. Canada's in very bad. Imagine if you guys elected Hillary Clinton 6 years ago. That's how far gone we are now. We have no political options whatsoever. Every party's left wing. Every party's pro mass migration. Every party's pro UN, pro climate change, Zionist party. All of them, every single one. There is literally no option, and they're just competing back and forth to be who can be the most woke now. And it's just. It's hard not to be black-pilled up here.
We actually have a long history in Canada from, well, I guess it kind of intertwines together. Our Supreme Court up here, the people that literally dress like Santa Claus, have a connection to some of the textbooks that are given out in Canadian schools. In 1939, Mackenzie Smith, when a boatload of Jews seeking refuge came to Canada, his famous quote was saying, "None is too many." So a historian and an author wrote a book called "None is Too Many." His name is Irving Abella. Okay, his wife sits on the Supreme Court of Canada.
Is he Jewish?
And yes, definitely, Irving.
Yeah,
I can actually send you a clip of his wife speaking about how free speech. free speech is not a right in Canada, and they have the ability to tweak it. And it's not like America where it's an absolutist approach. This gives the justice of the peace more power. I'll actually send you this link.
Do you have any of this stuff going on in your guys' politics? This is Trump's spiritual advisor.
Hey, we interrupt that which has been deployed to hurt the church in this season, that which has been deployed to hurt this nation in the name of Jesus. Forgive us for our sins. Come on, I need you guys to pray. We cancel every surprise from the witchcraft in the marine kingdom. Any hex, any spell, any witchcraft, any spirit of control, any Jezebel, anything that the enemy desires through spells, through witchcraft, through any way that is manipulation, demonic manipulation, we curse that. We break it according to the word of God. In the name of Jesus, we come against the marine kingdom. We come against the animal kingdom.
She's against
According
animals.
to the
Spiritual advisor, eh?
According to the Schofield Bible, she means, maybe?
Well, Schofield Bible, definitely. But there's also this, too. The Jewish Daily Forward article out. Paula White has also appropriated Jewish rituals and symbolism into her ministry, declaring her love for Passover and wearing a talit in a Yom Kippur appeal for donations to her megachurch.
Mega church. That's in it. No, we don't have any of that really up here, honestly. And I think the church is so far gone in Canada. It doesn't even there's a bunch that burned down here the last few years and were destroyed by new Canadians that they don't want to report about. And it's completely out of our politics entirely. You even bring up religion or Christianity whatsoever. It's politically it's a political hand grenade. You'll never get elected. It's never going to happen. We're really far gone up where it's Babylon up here. Somebody just sent me a picture.
Justin actually is more likely to put on Islamic robes and garbs and eat with them sitting on the floor,
which he's done
for photo opportunities, rather than ever acknowledging the Christian or Catholic Church.
Can we get anything that's not extreme leftist communist or Zionist religious extremist? Just like maybe a little bit of a gray middle ground could be nice.
Sorry, that's not on the menu here.
And these megachurch people really pissed me off. Who was the guy that during Katrina, he had that giant, Joel Osteen, was that the guy? And all these people lost their homes and lost everything. And we're like, can we stay in your giant mansion? And he was like, no. And, they've got jets and planes. Like, well, God needs me to have a jet plane. Oh, he does. Does he really? I thought Jesus wore like rags and like hated rich people.
Yeah.
Paula White was ever supposed to have a giant golden palace.
Paula White was married to
Benny
Benny
supposed to be a
Hinn.
pope?
He's the faith healer, like the real con artist faith healer. She goes on to speak in tongues here in this video as well.
Oh, Jesus.
Fall in
That's
the name
awesome.
of Jesus. We command all satanic pregnancies to miscarry right now. We declare that anything that's been conceived in satanic wombs, that it'll miscarry. It will not be able to carry forth any plan of destruction, any plan of harm.
Okay, I think I missed the speaking in tongues, but she definitely does do that. So this is Trump's
that was kind of weird what she was
advisor.
saying there anyways.
His spiritual advisor, huh? Oh, wow.
The left isn't making they're making a strong case for Trump to say that they're cheating when supposed transparency looks like this, literally boarding up windows.
That's another thing. It's like it's almost like they want people to see how obvious this is. Like they're not even trying to hide it. It's like stealing from a bank in broad daylight, dressed up as like the guy, with like black face paint on and carrying a big bag with a money dollar sign on it. Like, oh, I'm not robbing the bank. Like you're not even trying to hide this anymore. This makes the 9/11 fucking job look like They're literally like this kind of stuff. They're boarding it up, and then we closed. We stopped counting at 3:30 because we're tired. We wanted to go home. And then at 4:30, we just found 315,000 votes for Biden in the attic. Yeah, there's a big box up there. I forgot all about it. Every single one of them's for Biden. Whoops! Like people aren't going to notice. It's blatantly obvious. I think this is because America's in the way. America's the last like really free country, to an extent at all, that even resembles anything sane left in the world that isn't completely taken over and gone. And it's in the way of the global communist order, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, what they're trying to build here. So
Agenda.
let's tear them apart. You can how do you defeat America in a war? You can't really, unless you make it fight itself. I mean, this is just two cars set up down like to crash into each other. There's no way. I don't really see any way out of this, out of a civil war here for you guys. I mean, so Trump's going to not concede. Neither is Biden. They're going to go to the Supreme Court and say, oh, but then the left, who owns all the media and can drum these idiots up to like, look, so, poor baby George Floyd. Poor little baby George Floyd was just driving his tricycle, minding his own business, licking a lollipop, and then the Ku Klux Klan came and killed him. Oh, that's what happened. So then they burned down half of America. They can make these people do whatever they want.
No, they didn't burn down America. It's the white supremacists that are burning down America.
Oh, right.
That's the narrative that they're giving.
Yeah.
The white supremacists
Joe Rogan
want violence.
A bunch of white kids stealing sneakers is what Joe Rogan told me. But so Trump's going to, and then the Supreme Court will go, no, this does seem to be illegitimate, and I think Trump is going to be. Trump bought off the Supreme Court. He put Amy Coney Barrett in there, and she's a stooge, and she's a Russian agent. Yeah, Putin put her in there. Yeah, and like, there's no way out of this. They're never going to accept it. There's no like. You can't in good faith negotiate with these people or come to any kind of reasoned conclusion because they don't care about facts or what's real or what's happening. They just want to win at any cost. And that will eventually come down to just killing each other. I don't see any way out of it, honestly. I don't want that to happen. But
you can't even communicate with the other side. I tried today twice at work to talk to two different people about voter fraud and what's happening in the States. And they literally started laughing at me when I said that, because they did such a good preemptive job of brainwashing these people to say, oh, if anything goes wrong, it's blaming Trump. Trump's the one to blame. He's going to go out crying like a baby or whatever their tropes are that they're using.
I saw Greta was trending again today on Twitter because she, was making fun of Trump for being mad about the voting counting. He's like trying to stop the voting. She's like, why don't you just calm down, Donald? They're like, oh my God, Greta, you got him so good. Oh, there's a kid that should be, nope, you know what? I'm not going to say it.
Trump seems really, the press conference, he seems really calm and in control and confident to me. Like he has a trick up his sleeve. And but before we get to that trick, I just want to show you a couple more news stories. This is out of Reuters 2 days ago. European police in coordinated raids against online hate speech.
They've set the stage to do that in our country as well. That has to do with the donations to Anti-Hate Canada, fighting online hate. And basically what they're doing is setting up cases ahead of time so that if we ever slip up or screw up, they have a whole list of stuff to go against our character.
Yeah, they just got paid. And the online, the right wing, like this portion of people, especially in Canada, is so small. Like we all know each other. There's that few of us. And they just got $1 million to, pay a bunch of autists to track everything we do online and screen grab everything and, take video and all this stuff. And then later on down the road, next month, the month after, I'm not sure, there's new legislation coming about, combating online hate. And then they'll use that as evidence to roll us up and lock us up or, fine us heavily or, whatever. It's crazy. Like this is political. I wrote a letter about this to a dozen different MPs. Remember, Adam, they put you on the website too with us. Known anti-Semite, white supremacist, neo-Nazi, blah blah blah, etc.
Yeah. According to Sheldon Adelson,
they're watching this right now.
Yeah.
They're taking notes, watching this right now, and they're going to update their thing for next time and put another hit piece out there that to encourage people who attack us and have us deplatformed and censored. And it goes against the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. You have the right to expression and ideas and creativity. You're allowed to say whatever you want. You're just not allowed to incite violence or anything that could be reasonably considered to be encouraging people to commit violence, which we've never done. But that doesn't stop them. I mean, they're not honorable people. They're not people that want the truth or they don't care. They just want to win, and they don't want us to exist. It's not as much as we just disagreed. No, they want us gone. And now I don't know, another scary thing that maybe you guys aren't aware of, the old Alex Jones, Bill Cooper, the FEMA camps, they're going to put us all in camps. They've got camps built in Canada now. There's no one yet in them. One of them was just discovered outside in Manitoba. Portage la Prairie is the town. It's a big camp with big, high, 10-foot barbed wire fences, and there's a contract the government put out to build a dozen of them across the country, one in every province, to put people for, COVID-related issues, whatever that means. Mm-hmm. for a virus that has a 99.9% survival rate, which is not overwhelming hospitals. There's a hospital in Calgary that was built for $3 million, a pop-up, facility, and not a single patient. Nobody, it's not. It's just the flu. It's flu season starting, so they're calling it the second wave. So every case of the flu, they're calling it coronavirus. Quietly on the news, it's another coronavirus. The flu is
anymore.
Technically
they eradicated
the flu is a coronavirus. Yeah, there's dozens of coronaviruses, and the seasonal flu is one of them. So that's what they're saying. So, and they also want our guns. They've banned all the rifles, and they want to confiscate those here in the next 2 years.
While they're building camps,
police. And defund the police, and build up hate speech laws. So I mean, it shouldn't take a genius to see where this goes.
Yeah.
But apparently it does.
Well, this is the type of hate speech that they're talking about here. This is a Jewish rally for Trump that happened last week.
When President Trump signed the executive order on combating anti-Semitism. From here on out, get those Trump flags high. Get them high, get them high, get them high. From here on out, anti-Semitism will be forever recognized as a hate crime, as it should be.
Hate crime. Anti-Semitism, as they define it, a hate crime forever.
Yeah. Which is just simply, if you just criticize the Israeli government, is technically anti-Semitism, right?
If you say that they're not chosen, basically, you're Amalek and they will destroy you.
Correct.
President Trump is stomping out anti-Semitism on college campuses and universities because from now on out, anti-Semitism is a hate crime under Title VI. President Trump.
I'm so tired of winning. We have to elect Trump to save the nation, guys.
Well,
Zog's not
Israel's
the problem.
Last. That's what Q said. Q said the Israelis are going to be last, and this is all just 14D chess. Somebody in the chat, Veronica Zima. That voice, right? There's always the voice.
Here's
I actually just had a business idea. If we could actually maybe make these and put them up on the website, plaidarmy.com, but a mask that attaches to a kippah, it just looks like it fits. You could have the two strings going down.
Oh, that's a great idea, Derek. We should do that. Yes. We'll get my lawyers on it. We'll copyright it and everything.
Did you know that an Israeli copy got 9/11/2001 copywritten on the day of 9/11?
Oh my God.
I think I did hear that once before, but that doesn't surprise me. They all got
never forget.
Silverstein got the insurance policy. That the Odysee app. Everybody was told not to go to work that day. Like, that's a conspiracy. There's no evidence. There's tons of evidence. If everybody I know was sent a secret message not to go somewhere one day, and there's a mass murder, wouldn't you suspect maybe I had something to do with it? Or isn't that just basic common sense? But because it's the special people we're not allowed to criticize or say anything about, no, they go to Sport Check and get the smallest hats in the kids section. They're special people. They're not allowed to ever be talked about in any kind of negative way. Who cares how many thousands of people they kill or how many wars they send their daughters and sons off to go fight in? It doesn't matter. They're amazing. Didn't you see Schindler's List?
Here's the Gizmodo story. This is from
the actual.
Go ahead, Derek.
Oh, I was just going to say the working definition that they're using for bills 202 and 168 come from the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance and their working definition. They try to say it's not legally binding, but that's how they always end up weaseling their way in and using it to set precedents in court cases and that.
And the guy that came up
I have
with
the
that
definition in front of me, actually.
I talk about that definition all the time, like every video, but the guy that came up with it is like appalled that they're trying to actually use this and enforce it. It was only supposed to be for like tracking and research and statistics. But look at this, Gizmodo,
Right.
This is 2014. Someone, not anybody specific, just someone tried to trademark the term September 11th. And a businessman, of course, Modi Schneiberg. Who was behind that?
I was Irish.
Can you imagine if every time somebody used a date, you had to pay them a royalty fee?
Imagine thinking, "Oh, how can I capitalize on 9/11 on the day?"
Yeah,
on the tragedy.
Phillies are still on
People
fire,
up,
and he's got
you've
business
seen it,
plans
all the
already.
officials overseeing.
JNS, Jewish National Syndicate. This is from an article about them trying to go after BitChute and get BitChute censored. And they're trying to say social media companies are being pressured to clean their platforms of hate speech and adopt the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. But this has led anti-Semites and white supremacists to look for other places to share their content. So they need to shut down BitChute because they're not censoring anybody that wants to talk about this definition, which is a preposterous definition where you can't criticize them at all.
Yeah, our government asked
in the definition, it goes as far as to say rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism. So what does rhetorical mean? You can't make fun of them?
No.
It's forbidden to mock the righteous. It's forbidden to criticize them at all in their end times prophecy. Here's Isaiah 25:8. He will swallow up death and victory, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from off all faces, and the rebuke of his people shall he take away from all of the earth. The Lord hath spoken it. No criticism of his people on earth. This is what they believe will happen in their messianic age.
Well, I think there's no time like the present. We need to recite the words. We need to say the 4 words. We want Moshiach now. We want Moshiach now. That's the only way, you know.
Yep.
Oh, this stuff is just, I can't, you know. It's so prevalent.
Any sane person would, you know what, if you want these type of laws, why are you enforcing them internationally? Why don't you go to your own state that you've built or stolen, however you want to call it, and enforce those laws there?
Our government and our tax dollars are paying for government officials to try to get this adopted worldwide. I think they've already got like dozens of countries that have signed on, tons of schools in the U.S., any institution they're trying to get to adopt this. Media, social media, everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
you guys ready
like
for
there's actually another working definition that we could bring up on another time, but it has to do with the father of children's rights, an old Jewish guy out of Russian-occupied Poland. And this is the working definition that the United Nations tries to work with for giving children their rights. And it's also the one that NAMBLA refers to all the time. What was the dude's name again? Allen Ginsberg.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you guys know the organization of NAMBLA.
MAMBLA, isn't it? Is it NAMBLA or MAMBLA?
National Man
North
Boy
American
Man
Man
Boy.
Boy Love.
North America, yeah.
Okay, North America Man Boy. Yeah. I knew there was a man and boy in there. Yeah, it's just
the fact that even
disgusting.
exists at all is just disgusting. You know, as soon as that even hit anybody's desk, the entire FBI should have been like, all of these people need to have accidents immediately. Everyone involved in this has to have a terrible accident like today, by the end of the day. By the end of the work week, if all these people aren't, they aren't in the hospital, you're all fired. That's your task for the week, FBI. Imagine, like, oh, well, I mean, it's a sexual orientation. They just want to fuck kids, It's not that bad, Yeah, that doesn't fly, but
well, apparently it does, because they just got to repackage it and sell it to us a different way, because the state broadcaster CBC up here literally makes drag kids, is what it's called. Drag kids, CBC drag kids. That's what it is. Yeah. And they parade kids around wearing the opposite sex clothing. And the winner of that season gets to dance on stage in Toronto at a gay pride event. Does that not sound creepy? Like,
Biden said he wants 8-year-olds or 7-year-olds to be able to transition recently.
Yeah. Yep. Minor attracted persons. That's right. One of the guys sent me in the chat there. Moshe Finkelstein.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I want to share this with you guys now. This is a 2-minute video. This just went up on InfoWars. Owen Schroyer and Steve Pieczenik. You guys familiar with him? He's a former head of psychological operations for Delta Force and wrote books with Tom Clancy. And he's deep state. He is a Zionist. He's criticized Israel, but he shills for Kushner, shills for Trump. And listen to what he has to say. This could be huge if true. And it'll be huge if it'll play.
People will be arrested as of tonight, tomorrow, and it will go on for quite a while. And this was a total sting operation, that I can say.
So explain.
anybody else. And I have the permission to say it. I do not deal with classified information. As you know, I do not work for our government, but because I'm loyal to the Republic.
Let me be very frank. I have never been an aficionado of the Constitution.
You like that? He says, do you guys think those two things go together? Watch this.
For our government, but because I'm loyal to the Republic.
Let me be very frank. I have never been an aficionado of the Constitution.
I don't know if you guys know, but America is a constitutional republic.
Yeah.
And this guy, I have him on tape saying he ran a counter coup on Hillary Clinton with WikiLeaks and the Podesta emails, and then he never got dragged into Congress. And then now he's saying the same thing for this year. That this is they're saying that they put watermarks on the ballots, and then so if there's any fraudulent ballots, they're going to go out and find them and show that the Democrats were cheating, and then the Democratic Party will be over, and it'll just be Trump, leading the one-party Zionist, ultra-Zionist party, if this is true.
Yeah, what could go wrong there? Yeah, and then, the left riots and freaks out, and everybody demands martial law, and they get it.
Yeah.
And once that monkey comes out of the cage, he never goes back in, ever.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be living in a police state forever. There's going to be drones
Do
patrolling
you
the
think
streets
that's what the card that you think Trump has up his sleeve, why he seems so confident right now? There's some truth to this?
I do. This is Steve Pieczenik. This guy is tied in at the highest levels. He's been working with Alex Jones for 20 years. This guy is connected with intelligence 100%. He brags about it all the time. He's probably behind Q. Here, watch this.
I have never been an aficionado of the Constitution. I have never been an aficionado of the Constitution. The reason for it, it's outdated. And what's happening now is we're coming into a new realism, a hyper-realism, where the states become more important. It will go on to Pence. From Pence, it will go on to Ivanka or Jared Kushner. And we will remain a viable country and a great country. I have no fear.
We're going to be a great country with Chabad Lubavitch, Jared, and Ivanka Kushner in the White House. This is what he's pushing on InfoWars.
Yeah, that's been a theory. I think I saw you were the first one to talk with this. How they're grooming Kushner and setting him up for later, and Alex Jones. He just looks so powerful, doesn't he seem? He's just a very powerful presence. He's so strong, and I'm like, what? This guy looks like Pee Wee Herman. What are you talking about? Kushner's about as intimidating as a child, and but that's he's set right up that we can get Trump here for another 4 years, and then he's going to be, if he even lives that long. I mean, the guy's, what is he, 75? 74, 70, he could drop dead any time. He's in his mid-70s. He's not a healthy guy, right?
Yep.
And then you're set up for the succession plan with Javanka. Faith Golding was telling us on our stream the other day that, Javanka's going to take over. It's going to be Kushner and the Ivanka ticket, or Kushner and whoever. And, they're going to piggyback off of all the Trump momentum and the Q idiots and all these people. And it's like, you're just follow it. Come on, follow that carrot on the stick.
And all the carrot and the stick. And then all the people who are on the America Great Again Trump train right now, they'll be going like, oh, you got to vote for Jared Kushner, he's better than the Democrats, you got to vote for Kushner. It'll be the same thing. Here it gets even better here. I actually missed the best part in this edit.
So we're almost out of time. Thanks for joining us.
And I work with a lot of people who are loyal to this republic, including the 16 intelligence services, the Secret Service, our civilian service. They've all been great, and they've kept it quiet. And I've been given the permission to say what I just said. I have nothing more to say, but this is not a surprise here. This is the biggest sting operation probably in our country that we've ever had.
For those of you who don't know me, I am Jewish. I came out of the diaspora. I basically am related to Rambam, and my family was involved with Begin and Jabotinsky.
So Ramban is Maimonides. It's the most famous supremacist Chabad rabbi, and Jabotinsky is one of the ultra Zionist, militant Zionists that kind of that Netanyahu's dad worked for Jabotinsky, and then Begin was the first of the Likud party, terrorist Menachem Begin, who did the bombing, King David Hotel bombing, and said he was a proud terrorist, and he was in the 70s. He was Likud that got into power. So that's who he's connected to.
Yeah, the chat here. Yeah, he probably, that's probably, my money's on this guy being running the Q operation at this point.
Yeah. Oh, he promotes the Q channels on Twitter.
Yeah.
Here, I missed the best part
there
though,
we
guys.
go.
I'm sorry, but you got to see this. This is the breaking part. I played the end instead of the beginning.
One, it's not a hoax. What's happening now, and the reason I couldn't come on the Alex Jones show last night was I was not given the permission that I needed to in order to say what I'm about to say now. I do not work for the federal government. I'm not paid by them.
He doesn't work for them. He's not paid by them, but he's working with them. Guaranteed.
Sure.
Let me just say again what I said in 2016. There are honorable members of our intelligence, military, and civilian community in the government who understood exactly how corrupt Biden and the Democratic machinery was, and will be. This is really a sting operation. Contrary to what everybody else said, Trump knew this was happening. Eric knew this was happening and warned the public. I knew this was happening. However, I could not say anything about it. What happened was we watermarked every ballot with what's called the QFS blockchain encryption code. In other words, we know pretty well where every ballot is, where it went, and who has it. So this is not a stolen election. On the contrary, we reversed the entire game of war along the lines of Sun Tzu, the art of war. And Trump was brilliant and still is brilliant at it. The reason he hasn't been seen, and Alex correctly said, I haven't seen him in several days. Well, in the art of the war, you pull back, allow your enemy to make all the mistakes that they are making, manipulate the situation, expose them, and then come in for the final killing. And that's what's happening now. None of this was unexpected. All of this was expected. All of this is part of the sting operation we're running. And let me tell you that 48 hours ago,
Hold on, that looks like the Moshiach crown a little bit. I don't know what that is, but that's the first thing I see.
That's their. It sounded like he sounded like he was describing a QR code or something. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know what
QFC code. Interesting that it's Q.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, it has to be a Q.
Okay, here we go. There's a little bit more, and then we'll get your guys' thoughts.
Not only did we put markers on those ballots, but I can say now, with the permission of people in the intelligence community and elsewhere, that we have sent out thousands and thousands of National Guards to 12 different states: Washington, Delaware, Texas, Arizona, Alabama, and everywhere. So now you have to consider and rethink what this is really about. The genius of Trump is that he is able to pull back at any point and manipulate the opponent without the opponent ever realizing. Honestly, I was informed that I could say something.
Yeah.
They know now, Steve, because you just told everybody on television.
Well, they think that it's already happened and that they already tried to cheat, and then now Trump just gave the press conference saying that they're cheating and that they're going to get to the bottom of it. So if this is true and they find out that there's mass election fraud by the Democrats, Trump's going to get power. He's going to really rule with an iron fist. He's going to crack down on censorship, crack down on the riots, Operation Warp Speed, martial law.
Yeah, that could definitely happen. I mean, you can see it happening, and the left will freak out and riots and everything. You know, that's the thing with this Q stuff and with guys like this. If any of this was real, like if this is real secret, like, oh shit, there's some real damning information, it would be off the internet so fast. You know what happens when people tell the truth for real? Yeah, they get locked up in embassies forever. Where's Julian Assange right now, guys? Hey, Trump, what happened to WikiLeaks? Love WikiLeaks, amazing. Yeah, that guy's like dying in a prison. He helped get you elected. That's where Podesta's emails all came from, all the pedogate stuff. That's all scrubbed from the internet, gone a long time ago. But the QAnon stuff can stay up forever, all the way right till the end. And they banned it right in early October, right before at peak attention mode before the election, to legitimize all the things that people are saying, to make them feel like, oh, it must be true because it got censored. It was running wild for 4 years with this trust the plan crap. And, you know, if any of it was true, it would have been gone in a week.
So you don't
that,
think this is
you've
true?
got-
You don't think the watermark is
I think
true?
it probably it could be, absolutely, but I don't think it's like benevolent. I think it's this is
I think it's part of the plan.
part of
guess
their
you could
plan,
say to,
not for America. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. But it is. Everybody's at home trusting the plan. This is exactly what the plan is. Adam added a third dimension to this. Not only the watermarks, but Trump will be given the excuse to do whatever he wants then.
Yeah.
He'll walk all over them. It'll be a completely different country and the people will enjoy it. It's a very eerie feeling to think that MAGA people are going to cheer for their own enslavement.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the left should be, there should be consequences for cheating and trying to steal an election. But at the same time, how could the ballots not have some type of like watermark or technology to stop forgeries and counterfeits to begin with, just like openly?
Yeah, you would think that was something that they already had in place.
I just read an article, I think it was New York Post, and it was like confessions from a mail-in voter fraud expert, and they were saying they have all these techniques, what they can do. He's like, at some places, we can just take a ballot, make a copy of it, and then take somebody else's envelope and stuff it in there. So,
do you think, like, I've seen Biden make many mistakes with his speech and openly say things by accident. I wonder if what he actually said, he's a part of it as well. They've actually gone ahead and gone forth with the most extensive voter fraud organization ever. If they're both playing on the same team.
That was probably just, he worded possible. That poorly, and he probably meant that they're trying to stop voter fraud.
Yeah, that guy's a walking skeleton. Like he said his granddaughter was his dead son Bo the other day. Like, how far gone are you in the head when you think your daughter is your other kid who's also dead and the other sex entirely? He doesn't know what state he's in. I watched him. He had basically a stroke in the middle of his speech. My economic plan is for immigration day. Whoa,
the thing.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on, man.
Was it you, Adam, that posted that meme of Trump and his son pointing at Hunter and Biden pointing back at them in a mirror or something like that?
No, that wasn't me.
Because if to the right, Biden and Hunter look exactly the way Trump and Trump Jr. look to the left. Young, privileged
I don't even know
son.
that I saw that.
Both sets of teeth. Oh no, I thought it was you that tweeted it out.
I don't think so. Here, let's finish this up. I think you might give us another interesting tidbit here.
About it today, only last night. That's why I could not come on.
Well,
this is the reverse of what you guys have been thinking. It's not a civil war. We have not been surprised in any way. This has been a setup by Trump for a long, long time. In the same way that we knew about Hillary Clinton, I warned about the coup that we would do a counter coup, and this is our counter coup again against the Bidens. And that's exactly what we expected. The corruption in the mail, the corruption of USPS, corruption with the Democrats, everywhere and anywhere. There was no surprise here. And that's why we deployed National Guard soldiers to 12 different states.
And I just saw that in the headlines that they're sending DHS and getting the DOJ involved and going out to these states.
I had read that they had put in 4 major swing states, they were already deploying the National Guard.
Yeah.
Very clear implication. He said, I will use common sense or my intelligence, i.e. both literal and figurative intelligence. And those of us in the intelligence community, be it who they are, again, what I said in 2016, when we exposed.
He's literally just like a Zionist intelligence operative on Alex Jones, just spewing out his propaganda and his mind control.
Yeah. And again, like it's just, people get caught up in the entertainment and the fun of it, and that's what the QAnon stuff is. It's entertainment. It's, conspiracy-tainment that, makes like, if any of this was remotely real, oh yes, there's inside, military intelligence people working to save America while broadcasting their plans to the whole world on 4chan, because, why not let everybody know what you're up to? And they just decided, because they're such patriots and they're such, just America, they're just going to ignore the worst attack on American history in 9/11 and completely just, we're not going to deal with the Saudis or the Israelis, or we're just going to ignore all of that. We got to get Hillary Clinton. That's what we really, these people are so deeply embedded in Congress with AIPAC and all these lobbyists and all this stuff. That's a huge problem. And you're telling me they don't know these things? Like, this is obvious open source information. I know it. You know it. Ryan Doss and all these guys, we can all see this, and they're not going to bother. And then when it ever was brought up, I think once or twice, it was like, well, what about when Q was new and people were like, I'm skeptical. Like, well, what about Mossad and the Israelis? Like, oh, don't worry. They're last. Oh, yes. Yes, the greatest threat, the biggest security problem is what you save for the end.
Yeah.
Like we're in a movie. Are they the final boss fight? That how? That's not how war works, guys. You disable the most destructive and powerful weapons the enemy has as quickly as possible. Immediately. You don't work your way up to it for, chapter 5 at the end of the fucking movie. This is stupid. And Americans and Canadians too. The Western people are conditioned to live like we're in a movie. We sit around, we watch movies and TV shows all the time, and now we're watching political theater play out the same kind of fashion. And they think it's normal. Like, literally none of this is normal. Just the fact that, we're like, day 3? They haven't even counted all the votes. People are like, gee, I wonder who's going to win. What do you mean, wonder? How do you not see that this is a farce? Oh, we couldn't count them. We got tired at 2 a.m. That's never happened in history. And now hundreds of thousands and everyone's like, oh, gee, wonder what's going to happen. Whoa, suckers. It's crazy. Everybody's so... It's frustrating to watch this level of conditioning, I guess, and it's very, very difficult to break people out of it.
It's interesting that today is remember the 5th of November, and then we got, Pechenik, it's not like all this was out in the open. Pechenik just said, oh, I've been hiding like Sun Tzu and letting my enemies fall into my trap, and then now I got permission from my intelligence friends that I can tell you guys on InfoWars. Like, I think he's for real. I don't, dismiss the stuff that Pechenik says.
I think he's probably that very well could be happening. That's not a bad idea either. And if they walk right into it like idiots, again, like, it's so in the open. Mm-hmm. Like, I like to play devil's advocate because I try to be a person with a brain and think of like, well, what would I do if I was the enemy? And then I'll try to act according to that. Like, well, this is what I would do. So this is something I should be aware of, I suppose. If I thought of it, why wouldn't they? If I was the guy in the room and they're coming up with these plans, well, we'll stuff the ballot boxes. We'll just make all these copies and we'll, question, isn't that going to be a little obvious? And then what happens when we get caught, which we will? What's the plan then? What did they say? Oh, shut up. You got a bad attitude. Okay. So you want to commit massive voter fraud on an obvious level across several states in the United States with everything under a microscope. The entire world is watching this. And your plan is to just mass stuff ballot box, fake ballots, and have really? This is the best you got. It's very hard to believe, but I don't know. Maybe they are that dumb.
It does seem kind of like an obvious plan and an obvious playbook that's real easy for all the Americans to follow and think, oh, yeah, good versus bad. Evil always triumphs, or good always triumphs over evil. And just pray to your new overlords.
Does it? Did good triumph over evil? Is that why the world wars happened? I hate that line of thinking. It's like, oh, don't worry, God wins every time. No, he doesn't. Shit happens, and whatever happens to you, your life, the things, it's up to you. You're the master of your own destiny.
Tell that to all the Christians
for things to happen.
Tell that to all the Christian Russians and Armenians that got slaughtered.
That's right. Yeah, how'd the Holodomor go? They don't even know about that. Oh, God wins, did he? Won a lot of 60 million dead in the godless nightmare of the Soviet Union, and all the millions dead in communist China. And on. And then we've got this nightmare in Venezuela. You've got North Korea. Like, oh, yes. Yeah, just pray and trust the plan and everything works out. No, I'm sorry, guys. That's not real life. That's not how that works. Nature's very cruel and mean. And, might is right, unfortunately. That's how things get done at the end of the day. Whoever's the meanest and most serious, who wants to win the most, is who wins.
Who's the most psychopathic.
Who puts the most money. Yeah. Whoever's willing to, that's the most important thing, is the will to win, and who's willing to do what it takes and go as far as it takes. There's no magic sky person that's going to intervene, and that just doesn't happen. It's never happened, and history's full. Look, the Germans ran around with Gott mit uns on their belt buckles, right? They were a Christian country. The entire Axis power, they were all Christian country. They had a little bit of a rough go at the end of that war in the years that followed, didn't they? Millions of German women raped to death and murdered by the Red Army. There was a statue in Poland of a Soviet soldier raping a pregnant Polish woman, and that they just took down because it was offensive. To commit yeah, remember that? Remember when all that mass rape and torture and murder and all that stuff happened? Now we're going to hide that up. Like it's the privilege of people in the Western countries, because we've all lived in soft, rounded edges and smoothed corners. We've had such a nice, comfortable upbringing with no real threats. We haven't really had a serious, there's some wars, but they're far away. We've never had like depressions or hunger or, huge disasters or invasions. So people have the luxury, especially upper middle class, white kids and people, to think that, not that I'm not doing the white privilege. I'm just saying, everything, it'll be fine. Everything will work out. Yeah, because everything's been fine for you, but it doesn't always go that way. The Irish famine, like sometimes things get really bad, they get worse, and then you die. You don't trust the plan, and it magically works out. So anyway, I don't know.
You guys should have a Trust the Plaid T-shirt. It's a good suggestion. I saw in the comments.
Have said that now. It's a good idea.
I saw somebody throw that in the comments there. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
it is. Trust the Plaid.
I would have wore the plaid. I wore the plaid, I think, the 2 times I was on with you guys, but it's a little warm and humid today, so I had to go for the Trump Zion shirts. Well, I agree.
That I got to get one of those shirts, actually.
I'll send you one. The left says that the right's cheating, and then the right says that the left's cheating, and they go, "Oh, they're the problem." And we're sitting back like, okay, both sides are willing to cheat to attain power, and that, obviously the left will. They think Trump is Hitler by any means necessary.
That's right.
It would be the moral thing for them to get Hitler out. They would do anything. They would lie, cheat, steal, and they do it. They get caught doing it all the time. Brazen chutzpah.
Yep, I've been saying that for a while, and I blame the media too. And they get off so easily. Like, listen, the first people that need to be, burned and face ruthless punishment is the media. They did this. That none of this would have been possible without them cheerleading, not doing their jobs, just doing what they're told, repeating bullshit talking points, covering things up, not telling the truth. And now you've got 4 years of dry humping, of giving everybody blue balls about killing each other, about literally Hitler and bash the fash and literally Nazis and oh my God, on and on in the news over and over and over and over and over again. So yeah, like you're saying, the people on the left feel morally justified because they believe, Hitler, the ultimate boogeyman supervillain of all time, is back, and now he's Orange Man. And why wouldn't you cheat and kill and murder? What wouldn't you do to stop Hitler? And the media did this. And when the blood runs in the streets of America, it's on CNN, it's on CBC, it's on the BBC, it's on all these people. They did it, and they cannot be allowed to just coast through it. And well, now we're going to comment on all the violence. No, you're responsible. Not only are you not an innocent bystander, you're on the team of the people that caused this. You need to be severely punished.
The contrast. Both sides have the same enemy looking towards. You either have the Nazi Hitler that you're going against, or you're going against the Satanist pedophiles. Yeah. It can't just be that those so-called Satanist pedophiles also happen to read the Talmud. Like that's where I see. Yeah, or Talmud, whatever it is. That book. Mm-hmm. But that's where I see it. All those laws and what they're accusing these Satanist pedophiles of doing is all written in the Talmud, and they have the excuse for it. So, yeah, it doesn't matter which side.
It's about time.
Left versus right. It's done on purpose. Mm-hmm. It's
So we've heard the threat of a white replacement and white genocide. They call it a conspiracy theory, but what do you think about this threat here? Let's get your guys' comments on this.
It's about time that as minorities, we play into the negative aspects of our stereotypes. We reclaim them.
So he goes on to list different people of color and what we can do to combat racist white folks. For Asian people is do math and work harder than them. Incorrect. No. Instead, I will sleep with a white man. I will sacrifice myself for the greater good. Why, you may ask? Asian women can single-handedly cause the white genocide that they are so afraid of. With 2.25 billion Asian women and 500 million white men, baby, it'll only take 2 generations. In 2 generations, there will no longer be any blonde-haired, blue-eyed brats. I will pass on this hair, these eyes, this skin, and my babies will be Asian. They will learn my language, and they will not be white.
It's funny that she's saying that. That's happening in Canada as it is. Anybody you find on the right side of the movement pretty much has an Asian wife.
Well, I mean, a lot of jokes have some truth to them. Here, there's like 10
Yeah,
seconds.
well, I mean,
left.
the
Fetish. Because
Yeah,
me
go
and my Asian army will fuck you out of existence. Peace.
uh-huh.
Yeah, your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, okay. Oh, okie dokie, Mumbai. We love you long time. Fuck no. If you watch the propaganda, I mean that's what it is, Hollywood, and like the trends, TV shows, movies, music videos, all the entertainment. Yeah, you do notice the patterns over the time. White women are encouraged. You know who's really is black guys. You guys should really. And the white men are, hey, look how attractive the Asian women are. You see this a lot. You know what I mean? Maybe it's my imagination. I don't think it is, but I've been noticing it more and more. But noticing.
Well,
things
I've seen
is
it a lot
racist,
with.
so.
I've noticed it a lot with the white culture. They say, well, forget these American women or Canadian women. They're useless. They're materialistic. Get yourself a good Asian woman. There's a lot of propaganda towards that. And yes, again, with the black on white. I mean, if you look for a happy white woman and Google it, she 8 times out of 10, maybe 7 times out of 10, she's appearing with a black man with a big smile on her face. It's happening in our advertisements. It's happening. It's mandatory now, isn't it? Didn't the Oscars or the Academy just mandate it that you have to have a BIPOC or a LGBT person and just to be even considered?
Yeah. And the numbers are, I mean, again, up here in Canada, if you guys aren't, because you guys take a lot of immigrants and, that's been happening for a while in the United States. But what you may not know is that Canada has the fastest changing demographic in the history of the world outside of a war. Our cultural ethnic makeup is changing faster than any other country has in history. We take the most people in here per capita of any country in the world. We're only a country of, well, it was 35 million. We're up to 37 million now. And we're taking, I mean, the government's admitting to 375,000 people a year into a country size of 37 million. But there's temporary foreign workers and there's foreign students, and the real numbers are close to over a million people a year. So in 20 years, that's the entire country. It's crazy, and we don't have the money for that. I was just Edmonton, one of our bigger cities out west, massive tent city, hundreds, maybe thousands of people are living in tents in a park, just hopeless. Calgary's got one too. All of our major cities, Toronto, tons of homeless people. And, the coronavirus, the pandemic, we need to keep Canadians safe from COVID-19.
Not to
by
mention
bringing in
our
a million.
employment. Sorry, I was just going to say, not to mention our unemployment right now is almost hitting double digits, and we're still increasing immigration rates.
Yeah.
I think we just raised regular immigration by 180,000 a year. We have 400,000 coming for student visas, 400,000 coming for temporary work permits, all path to citizenship. And a lot of people don't know this, but the past 2 immigration ministers in our cabinet are also sit on the board of what's known as the Century Initiative. Your audience can Google what that is. The Century Initiative is to bring 100 million people to Canada by 2100. Just to stay competitive in the global market. It completely contradicts the idea that they want to try and save the climate and save everything else when you're bringing people from a warmer climate into a place where they're going to have a bigger carbon footprint. So think about that, America. You're going to have 100 million people north of the border. Trump's not wrong when he says he's going to have to build a northern wall at some point.
That's another thing. Canada will be a massive security threat for the United States in the next, if it isn't already. We don't do any screening whatsoever. We literally pay terrorists money, reintegrate. The government's literally committed treason, helping or aiding, abetting an enemy force that our military is currently engaged in fighting with is treason. While we were bombing, helping you guys bomb ISIS in Libya and Iraq and stuff, we had our, F-18s and our special forces guys that were doing that. At the same time, the government was repatriating ISIS fighters and giving them welfare checks and, sending them to therapy. That's treason. Oh, well. How many of those guys are running around Canada? I don't know. Fort McMurray, we used to have an oil industry, but it's been destroyed because, climate change. We can't have oil. That would, destroy the earth. So everything that's been shut down. But I think 16% of Fort McMurray is Muslim now, 18% in a Canadian, you know what I mean? Biggest mosque in North America. The biggest mosque in North America.
Dearborn, Michigan. We're building it's 150,000 square feet of Muslim goodness that's being built right in the center of our energy sector. So they're obviously expecting an influx of people to come there and run that site once it opens up again.
Minnesota reelected Ilhan Omar and 3 other, Somalians to the state Senate, I think. You know, and the biggest Somalian population in the world outside of Somalia is in Minnesota. And it's not getting, and you know, how's Minnesota doing? How's Minneapolis? Looking good.
You know what's sad too is if we take, I mean, we want to take the good people from countries, but then if we take all the good people and they leave, what's going to happen to their home countries?
Exactly. That reminds me of I don't know if you've ever seen this clip. It's, you know, famous. It's the guy with the gumballs. You ever see that one? There's a professor talking about this. How they try to say like, oh,
gumball migration.
Yeah.
I've seen
Anyway,
one
he's
with
got that.
gumballs about vaccines, I think, but not about immigration. Maybe I have.
Yeah, he's talking about, so each one of these gumballs represents 1 million people or so, and he's like taking them out of he basically builds a visual represent. Here's how many people there are in the world, like, and they're bringing, oh, we'll bring so many million a year because it'll help, you know, lift these people. It's like you're only taking, how many people can there possibly be in, you know, Somalia that have the potential? There you go, right there. To be, you know, doctors and engineers and lawyers, because that's the only people we're bringing in, right? It was just doctors, engineers, and lawyers. We're going to bring them all in. So yeah, each one of these are all 1 million people. You'll never catch up. There's so many. All you're going to do is flood your own country with all these people, drain the best of these other countries, people that may actually be able to help and change things where they're from. We'll take the smart ones out of there, so then just screw them entirely, salt the earth, and, you know, fill our own. It's nonsense. It's completely you know, it's the opposite of what you should want to do. And it's
like all the best basketball players all going on the same team.
That's right.
And letting all the other teams just lose every game.
And then still competing in the Olympics against them and just crushing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good for the NBA. If we put all the best players on the Chicago Bulls and leave, it's good for the NBA that way. It's okay, I suppose. No, that doesn't make any sense. But, you know, when you see all these things together, again, noticing things as racist and patterns are racist. Yeah, whatever. I get it. It becomes very, very difficult to see that, or to say that, oh, there's no agenda, there's no central planning, there's no deep state government, there's no, all of this is just all happening coincidentally. North America, Canada, the United States, Ireland, the UK, France, Spain, Germany, Italy, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Australia, New Zealand, we all at the same time, overnight, out of the blue, decided, hey, we need millions and millions and millions of people from the third world, and we don't like borders anymore, and we all want to ban guns, and we all want hate speech laws. Yep, that sounds fine. There's no evidence of anything strange going on there at all.
Yeah, it sounds like a recipe for disaster, which is what they want. I brought this up. Islam is the broom of Israel, you have to know, and that the European West will be destroyed, and it means the Messianic age is coming. This is what they believe.
Yeah, this doesn't help either. Convincing people that it's not real.
Yeah. Oh, well, they just censor the videos that prove it. Italy will be gone. Edom, Christianity's headquarters, will be destroyed.
Yeah, Italy's in bad shape.
And this girl, like, she says, they can cause the white genocide that they are so afraid of. Like, what kind of people would not fear their people being replaced or just, you know, disappearing? And this is what they want. They want the Jews believe it's their commandment to utterly blot out the memory of Amalek. Amalek is anybody that opposes them, but it's also the descendant of Edom, and Edom is Esau, or they believe the Christian West in America and Europeans, and they just openly say it everywhere. It's an open conspiracy.
I actually have a couple of friends that I'm trying to make the connection with them. They know that white majority countries are being infiltrated with third world migration, and they can't figure out why each one is being infiltrated at the same time. And this, I'm trying to help them bring it all together, that it's the religious war that they're in. They just don't realize it. Like, people have gotten so far away from religion, they have no idea what's happening to them right now. It's actually because of your studies and what I've found out because of this. I've started Bible study on Sunday mornings now, just to try and figure out more of what's going on.
Yeah. On a show, you do Bible studies, or just privately?
Yeah, I do it with a guy, Mike Phillip, out of Alberta. He's also a big part of the Wexit movement and trying to get Alberta to become the 51st state, I guess. And yeah, he does it every morning, I think roughly 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on my D-Live channel. If you just look for rants, and you can join us on church Sunday mornings.
So yeah, where can people find you guys? You guys both have your own individual D-Lives. Are you on YouTube still, or is that gone?
I somehow still am. I don't know how I've been banned, but I am still there. Yeah, my YouTube page and DLive. I just stream everything on DLive pretty much. I don't bother making like the polished short 15, 20-minute videos too much anymore. They've kind of gone away. Like they take a lot of work. They don't really get very far because the YouTube suppression and everything, and But I like doing this. I do streams 3 times a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and others whenever I can. At 8:30 Eastern on my DLive channel for now.
And I'll link all the
Till we're banned.
all the places to find you guys below in the BitChute comments, of course. Yeah, I noticed since the purge of all the QAnon channels, now the top trending list on BitChute is like all QAnon accounts. It's kind of a good thing that I guess that they might find our videos and actually take the real red pill and not the trust the plan scam.
Yeah. Because these are the ones that are always banned, right? Like pretty quickly if you go into this stuff in any detail, especially like you can't say replacement, what we were just kind of talking about there. If you went into that on YouTube, you were done. They would nuke your channel. But you can do QAnon all day long until it was, politically, tactically made sense to delete everything in October, because then it reinforces the believers that they wouldn't censor us if it wasn't true. It must be true. Anybody sitting on the fence is now convinced that Q must be real and all that. It's a well-poisoning operation. It reminds me of the flat Earth thing. When I first started getting into the 9/11 stuff, maybe 10 years ago or so. Jesus, it's been that long now. Yeah, about 10 years ago, 10 or 11, like to really, really get into it. Ryan Dawson introduced me to a lot of it. And it was really starting to take off back then. 2010, 11, 12. Like there was a lot of information on YouTube. It was the Wild West. You could get anything. All the JFK stuff was there. And a lot of the stuff was on there. And it really started, there was a lot of momentum. The communities were getting really big. And then out of nowhere, overnight, flat Earth people everywhere in all of the 9/11 circles would just infiltrate and come in, and they had professionally produced graphics and videos and all of this stuff. If you're a moron that doesn't understand math and all this stuff, you're like, again, Earth's flat, it's a triangle, we're on the back of a giant turtle swimming through space. What does that change? Absolutely nothing at all. I still have to pay taxes. Mossad's still a thing. You know what I mean? It's a tail chasing exercise. But anyway, later on down the road, a couple of years, maybe less, and then YouTube said, well, okay, we got to ban the craziness. We got to ban the miracle health cures and the crazy stuff like flat Earth videos and 9/11 conspiracy videos.
Yeah.
And a lot of the 9/11 people had been sucked into the flat Earth stuff, and then they used it to poison the well, honeypot it, and bang, all gone. And now when the pedogate stuff came out, when WikiLeaks dumped all of Podesta's emails and all the stuff, Epstein started making the rounds, and QAnon's here, you guys, and it took everybody from looking at anything really, very frightening. This is real. These are real emails. They never once said none of this was real, and they took them off into crazy land with the QAnon stuff, and now also banned. No, that's all gone. So now if anybody brings up the pedophile stuff, they go, oh, you must be one of these QAnon people. Just like when you talked about 9/11 a few years ago, oh, you must think the Earth's flat too. It's the same trick over and over and over again.
Yeah, and
works every time.
It's not just flat Earth. It's just 9/11 in truth in general. Now it's like they're still talking about just the physics of the building and not moving on to like the cabal behind it.
Yeah, they're obsessed with how did steel doesn't melt beams, and like I don't care who did it, who did it and why. That's what matters, and that's what you're never allowed to talk about. I'll let you talk about all day long. Building 7, that's fine. But if you go, oh hey, you know about the Kurzberg brothers?
Yeah.
You know about the band?
and there's like hologram planes and no planes and space beams,
laser beams and
yeah.
Direct energy weapons from space.
Okay.
Well, that actually is happening now, but didn't they come out and admit that last year or recently that they're using direct energy weapons now?
Oh, they have lasers. They aren't knocking down buildings in New York City.
No.
Yeah. All right. Here's another headline. The Jewish News of Northern California. Meet the Jewish Democrat at Fox News' decision desk, the man who called Arizona for Biden early.
Yeah, I read this earlier. Obviously from you. You're the only guy I know that tweets this stuff.
Well, it's funny that they called it earlier. I think they're going to be doing a recount or Trump sending his DHS people to go bust the people that didn't have the watermarks or something. But I heard Trump called up Rupert Murdoch, the owner of Fox News, and he was outraged that they were calling these states for Biden early.
I heard that Kushner was actually the one that called him up.
Really?
Asking for his influence. Yeah.
Kushner. You read that just recently? Because I know that Kushner and Rupert Murdoch, there was an article that they talk regularly and that like daily, and that Rupert Murdoch is his mentor. It was on Rupert Murdoch's yacht. His Chinese wife, I think Wendy Dang, who played matchmaker for Jared and Ivanka.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was. I can't quote exactly where it was, but I understood that it was Kushner that made the call to Murdoch.
Gentleman was Arnon Mishkin, a Jewish registered Democrat from New York who is the leader and face of the Fox Numbers team. How is that happening? It's like, how does Trump have Chad Wolf? Oh, here, I'll show you guys that in a second, actually. Go ahead. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, didn't Tucker actually call, was it Wisconsin early for Biden?
Tucker did?
Am I getting that wrong?
I wasn't aware of that, no.
Yeah, I heard Tucker called one of the swing states for Biden, and they had to pull that back apparently too.
Yeah, this is so bizarre. Who knows how all this is going to pan out? If this Pechenik stuff is correct, then it's going to be change America forever. If one of the major two parties gets caught just ridiculously trying to cheat in an election, they'll be done forever.
Yeah. Sure. How do you rebuild from that? Do you have states that break off because they're blue states? Do you have does somebody just say, "Oh, we're the new Democratic Party," or does it just go straight Republic and now it's a dictatorship?
Yeah. Or is there crazy riots in the streets and staged attacks and just it could really go purge 2020 election year.
Yeah, that makes sense too. I mean, if you set off the left completely, if you cut them off, the head off their snake, they're going to implode, and that gives Trump all the reasoning he needs to deploy the military and have all the backing from the people. Wow, scary thought.
This would never have worked without, Trump doing what he's done. He's basically, because there was serious talk, and I know a lot of people in the U.S. military. I've done exchanges down there with the Marines and some Army units and stuff over the years. I was in the Army up here in Canada for 14 years. If anybody doesn't know, and there was concerning talk about a coup against Obama towards the end of his little reign there. People were very concerned because then it looked like Hillary was going to take over, and it was like, we're going down. We're going into full communism, socialism mode here. What are we going to do? It's not outside the realm of possibility to know that the people that are, pulling the strings here, they need the pressure release valve. You got to let people, let your foot off the gas a little bit every once in a while, or else they snap and pop and it goes crazy. So they put Trump in there, and now you've rallied all the nationalists and the American patriots under this false banner, essentially, thinking that what they're supporting is what they're. Oh yes, we're gonna, but it's a Trojan horse is what it really is. They never would have supported the martial law, any of that stuff again under Obama. Or imagine if Hillary, tried to enact martial law, you'd have civil war from all of these guys. But because they're now behind Trump and they think they're doing it in the name of protecting America rather than, like that alone is like, just stop and think for a minute, guys. You want to use the Army, the National Guard to pacify your own America, even though they are leftists and communists and, out of your mind. But just think about what's actually happening. You want to deploy the military to keep them under control. How long before you're on the wrong side of those boots? Could it be soon? Anytime? What if they do? What if they go, hey, we are going to force everybody to take the vaccine? Because there is only one party now, and Trump's not going to be here forever. He's 74 years old. Who takes over after? Once you unlock that gate and let those dogs out of that cage, they're not coming back. And you've got, police state government with, one super party with the Democrats destroyed. And is Jared Kushner the president now? And under this scenario, that is a nightmare. Like this is possible.
He's the golden boy. Kushner's the golden boy. He's creating peace around the world. He's Trump's go-to guy that had prison reform and all this stuff they give him credit for.
Yeah, they can't give him enough good press. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's young. He could go in there and be like, well, because of the radical leftists and the Chinese, he's like, oh, no, term limits are gone now too. I'm president for life. President Kushner for life.
Under
Chad
the same
Wolf
circumstances that it would happen on the other end of the spectrum up here in Canada. We've already had people blow their pressure relief valve, like Corey Huron decided to drive up to where Trudeau was staying with a couple of guns, crashed the gate and broke into his place. Trudeau wasn't there, but he sees what's happening. We're going to be put down underneath a leftist ideology of communism under the guise of tolerance or love and diversity and everything else. But they've already set the stage to wipe people like us out.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat.
Everybody cheer for it as well.
Yeah, and this is kind of the point. It's okay to be white. I agree. In the chat, said, "Well, we all have guns. Police state won't have it easy in the U.S." Well, they will, because people are going to support it. The Trump right-wing people are going to be like, "Yeah, we need safety, law and order, and the left are, not militant. I mean, we know what they look like and who they are. They're not going to be much of a threat.
They're going to trick them into welcoming their own demise, like to thunderous applause, their own enslavement.
Possible. Yeah, that's what scares me, because what would I do if I was the bad guys? It's like, this is what I would try anyway. Try to trick them into, because all the people that could fight, that would be a problem. Let's say the military, the police, ex-military, retired, these kinds of guys, blue collar, trade workers, and these are traditionally right-wing nationalist patriot type people. And through QAnon and through InfoWars and through these kinds of outlets, convince them that what's going to happen is what you want to have happen. When it could, you're asking for your own death.
Problem reaction. Textbook problem reaction solution.
Yeah, Hegelian dialectic. Yeah,
Hegelian dialectic.
Hegelian dialect.
Oh, I thought it was bagelian. Here, check this.
I just noticed that JL Plaid, John Lepore actually just joined the chat there. We're having a raffle done on the Plaid Army website where people can get their own custom knife from the Plaid Army. Rage has one. I have one. It says our actual name on it. Rage has his own. We're doing a draw. It's $10 a ticket if you guys want to join in. The guy does some good work.
Making knives?
Yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
He's a blacksmith.
Oh, cool.
He actually takes old leaf springs and turns them into a work of art.
Awesome. Plaid Army. You're a little fuzzy. I don't know if you have your background blurred or what, but check out this clip, guys. Okay?
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
This is something that really irritates me. Watch this. And disturbs me. And maybe, here, I'll just play it and comment after.
We're also joined by Acting Secretary of Homeland Security, who's done incredibly, Chad Wolf. Where's Chad?
Why are more people not mad at Trump for having Chad Wolf, who says that white supremacists are the top terrorist threat in the country? Yeah. This is Trump's DHS head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And listen to what he says here.
Homeland Security.
Thank you very much, Chad. You're right in the heart of it, and got some big things coming. Very big things.
Got some big things coming. Very big things.
So that was back in August. What kind of big things could Department of Homeland Security have coming?
Our Deputy Prime Minister, I guess, Chrystia Freeland, said the same thing on the United Nations stage, that white supremacy is the biggest threat facing Canadians today.
So they just keep saying that over and over again. Then he goes, something big is coming.
Yeah, there's been the only white supremacy neo-Nazi type, cell that I'm aware that has ever actually existed and posed a problem at all in Canada was started and managed by the state police and honeypotted people to join it and go, look at all these Nazis we found. They started the group and recruited people and then arrested them and said, see, we need more money to fight white supremacists.
Yeah, that's what they do every time.
The same person that did a movie about that, which is basically Canadian propaganda put out on the CBC, now runs Anti-Hate Canada, and he keeps using the Heritage Front, which was the name of this group. He keeps using the one that was made up as a reference point.
Yeah,
and he's got the entire population under wizardry.
It came out leaked internal slides from PayPal where they say that they're working with their extended partner, the ADL, and they will ban you if you are anti-immigration. It said anti-immigration. It said white advocacy. So a Jewish advocacy group, the ADL, is getting PayPal, the biggest payment processor online, to ban white advocacy. How do they have the chutzpah to try to get away with that? Not white supremacy, white advocacy.
Why wouldn't they have the chutzpah to do it? They get away with everything and anything else. Like, I think you just got kicked off Vimeo or something, didn't you?
That was Venmo.
How do you think that?
I've never been on Vimeo. Yeah.
Okay, Venmo. Sorry. Yeah.
Let me share this with you guys,
they have the power
too.
to kick anybody off with impunity.
From the Jewish tablet, the Orthodox and Trump, a response. Rabbi Yitz Greenberg replies to the evangelicalization of orthodoxy. So he writes this op-ed, this is just last week, against Trump, saying that he doesn't support Trump, but he does love the pro-Israel stuff he does. So here's Rabbi Greenberg, the top conservative rabbi in the country. This is or one of the top. This is what he says in this article. Look at this. My ethics and personal Torah teaching are the opposite of Trump's approach. I stand for the dignity and equality of every human being in the image of God. For the supremacist teachings of the Torah and the Talmud, for these guys to stand up like they're moral and ethical is just the most preposterous thing I've ever seen. They are they're antithetical to human rights and equality.
Well, they take advantage of people not knowing what the Talmud even is or what it says in there. If they did, I mean, it makes the Quran look like a children's bedtime story.
Yeah, well, they'll talk about.
That's exactly the way I've started. That's exactly the way I've started doing Bible study on Sundays, because whether you like it or not, people run the world off these books and what they believe is in these books. So if you haven't read them and you're not reading them, then you're not going to be able to keep up with it.
Yep.
So.
And here's the other highlight I have here. He says. Stand for the dignity and quality of all human beings without regard to race, gender, color, or sexual orientation, as against white supremacy or preserving a white Christian Nordic America. So, so go back 50 years to like the 1950s. America was whatever the history, it was founded by European people. And then there was it was like 90% European people, and then now these Jews who are extremely ethnocentric are going to say, "Oh, you cannot preserve, just preserving your culture of your country," and they're not going to stop with America either. And a lot of people have been brought to America, and they're here already, and they're brought against their will throughout history. So it's slightly different, but they're pushing the same agenda in Europe as well. Indigenous people, indigenous to Europe. They're going to say, "Oh, you can't preserve your culture. That's evil. You have to have open borders. Barbara Specter, you won't survive."
They wrote into law in the UK that there is no native to England anymore.
Yeah, because it's white people. Because Europeans are native to England.
Remember they had the advertisement where it was like Sweden, and there was some black guy, and they're like, "Yeah, we were Vikings," or something like that.
Yeah. Yes, I'm part Viking. I think you are also. Yeah. Where's my horn? It's around here somewhere. My drinking horn. I'm quarter Danish. Yeah, and they're black too. And the Romans, they were also black apparently, according to the BBC. The Roman legions, while they were mostly black guys, also. It's ridiculous. Is King Arthur black too? How far back is this going to go?
Yeah.
Where are white people are from nowhere. They've done nothing, and it's just crazy. And now it's to the point where you can't even just be like, I'm not even being a supremacist. I'm just saying, hey, I think it's cool. I like my family history that goes back. My father traced it back to like the 1500s. And no, you're not allowed to even like that or talk about it or promote it. That's white supremacy.
It's white supremacy to not hate yourself and to want your indigenous countries replaced by a deliberate agenda by a certain people who do the exact opposite for them. Could you imagine if a bunch of foreigners came into Israel and said, "Oh, you can't preserve your country"? They go, "We have the right to self-determination," or it's anti-Semitism. But then they do this kind of stuff all throughout Europe.
I like Regent Humanist's idea, saying that the new Israelites, we should try and work on a campaign of trying to get them back to Israel.
Yeah, and reparations for black people from the Jewish slave owners as well. I think
that's right, because they owned the ships. If it wasn't without the Jewish slave ships, there would have been no slavery in America. So let's talk about that for a minute.
2/3 or 75% of all slave owners in the South were Jewish.
Yeah, we've
Am I
seen
off
those,
by those numbers, or like,
but I mean, Go ahead,
People
Reggie.
just start getting almost. I mean, you got to be careful with the words. Not aggressive, but I mean, everybody is tiptoeing around and doesn't want to be called a white supremacist or this or that. Like you're asking or caring a lot about what the enemy thinks of you, which is pointless. Like, well, they're going to call us. Who cares? They hate you. They hate you. They don't. Who cares what they want to call you? It doesn't matter. The fact is, this is happening, and there's nothing you can do. You can bend your knees as much as you want. Bend right over. Kiss your own feet. It doesn't. Kiss their feet. Guys are literally kissing people's boots in public now. The BLM riots and stuff like that. Like, I'm an ally. They're going to use you up and spit you out and throw you away. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. And then what happens when it is we're 50% of the country, 40%, 30%? How's South Africa going now? You know what I mean? Like, there's no time to be worried about name calling and what will people think and what will people say. That's for children. It's childish. Okay. I mean, it's
the entire system has been set up to be childish. Even looking at the presidential debates, they're not going to be able to sit down and have an open conversation in a real forum to be able to talk about these things openly. Like, you have to have the news that's the middleman, and instead of just playing what somebody says, they're going to tell you what they said and how you should interpret it. It doesn't have a chance. I mean, if of all places, America should be able to set up some sort of free speech platform to have the real conversations. You think that would be a must?
Anybody noticing?
Speaker's Court.
Anybody noticing and exposing their agenda? They will call you an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist, a white supremacist, and it's really funny because I'm not a white supremacist.
Them all in print.
I don't want.
Neither am I.
I don't want other people to serve me. I don't think I'm chosen by God. Right. I don't think I have a better soul than all the non-Jews. Exactly. I don't want to rule over the nations in the end times and have them serve me, and they're only here to serve me, and all this stuff that they believe. It's just preposterous that they're able to get away with this nonsense.
Yeah. It's
looking
ridiculous.
at the vernacular that woman just used, saying, they're creating the very genocide that they're scared of. It's like, that's so patronizing. It's not even funny. If you were to say that about any other race, like, we're going to breed out the indigenous. What's the matter? Hey,
well, they say like like they just wrote another anti-hate article about me there a little while ago. I did a show with Henrik Palmgren at Red Ice TV. I think you've been over there before, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're excellent. But and they're talking about the fallacy or the fake theory of white genocide that doesn't exist. Well, they themselves brag about how white people won't exist in 30, 50 years. Like, that we're going to drop right off to nothing because the fertility rates are like 1.3 per couple. We're importing people that have a fertility rate of above 7, combined with everything else, the unemployment, the suicide rates, and it's like, in 100 years, there's not going to be white people anymore. And I've even seen like Time magazine articles and stuff that said like, the people of the future are a tan color, and it's like,
GTA,
what?
They openly talk about it. I have friends, like, where I live is probably the most multicultural area in Canada. I live about an hour away from the GTA, which I used to live there. And all of my friends, I didn't have any white friends because they're all different colors. And they'll say it openly to me because it's easier when you're with friends, right? It's the most racist shit you'll ever hear. I could say the same to them. And they outright tell us, yeah, we're invading. We're taking over. There's not going to be white people left anymore.
Yeah. Derek, do you remember that? Quick tub in the chat. He just reminded me of something there. Beige power. Do you remember that CBC music video where he was talking about that? Wasn't that gross?
What's the guy's name again? Some actor.
Sean Majumder, the most unfunny Canadian comedian of all time. The stuff I leave in the toilet is funnier than this guy, Sean Majumder. But what was it called? It might have been called Beige Power or something like that. And it was like, do you think this is funny? Like, what if we made a music video like that about how we were breeding out all the black people? There ain't going to be any more afros in 20 years. Ha ha ha. 50 more years. Say goodbye to those Jerry curls. That's all gone. Ha ha. Bye. Oh, that's hilarious.
Did you see the black Hebrew Israelite on the plane who said, "Oh, y'all just mad because y'all going extinct"?
Yep. Like that stuff is okay to say, and it's everywhere. And they're not wrong, because the white extinction conspiracy theory is bonkers. Oh, it is. Written by a guy named Farhad. Okay. Farhad. Go back to Iran.
They say that it needs to happen. They want it to happen. They want it to happen faster. We deserve it. All this kind of stuff. And then at the same time, they turn around and gaslight and say it's just a conspiracy theory and you're hateful if you don't want to see Europe, culture of Europe disappear.
Yuri
Speaking of-
Bezmenov couldn't be any more accurate when he said that our own race will be working against itself. You look at these TikTok videos of young white girls saying that they'll have an abortion if it's a white kid, or just the worst stuff, saying that they'll go sleep with as many black guys as they can just to try and save themselves from being attractive to a white guy.
I saw one where the girl said she won't sleep with she won't marry a white guy because she doesn't want to have a white privileged racist baby. Yeah. Look at this. This guy, this is a little bit of a white pill, and we're going to wrap it up here in a minute because I don't want it to be too long or else people won't watch on BitChute. New York Democrat presses Trump officials on terrorist designation for foreign white supremacist groups. This guy, I think Max Rose is his name. He was wearing his Kabbalah bracelet in this congressional hearing. He invited the ADL there as well, and he just lost his re-election last night. What?
So that would include us. Yes. That would include us, so that he's targeting. They'd be able to use the power of the DHS on Canadian soil at that point.
He just lost.
But our Chinese overlords would try and prevent that from happening.
I fully expect to be living on the run here in the near future. For it, but yeah, people need to stop apologizing and grow some spines and stop being afraid to say these things because it's true. If it's true, it's true. And I'm not going to apologize or be afraid or say, I don't know. I am proud of my family and my heritage and my culture and the people and everybody. We've never owned slaves. We've never, a lot of good history and great family things that I'm proud of and the people that live here, the country, the things we've done together. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with anybody saying those things from any country in the world. I would say the same thing to, if somebody was from Japan saying they're very proud of the Japanese culture. Yeah, good for you. That's cool. I like that. That's fine. No, we're the only ones not allowed to do that. No, fuck you. Nope. Go, come make me stop then. And that's probably what it's going to that's probably what it's going to come to. They will eventually come after people and say, well, we're going to put you in prison then. And I'm like, well, if that's how it's going to be, then that's how it's going to be. But I'm not going to just let you do it. I'm not just going to let you browbeat me into submission because, again, the same people that, the line of people that I came from would have stood and put up for that. I mean, how many wars and things have we fought for and, fighting for the things that we believe in? And now for it to end like this, no, sorry.
Well, just saying it's okay to exist is, prompts a probe, or they consider hate speech. Saying all lives matter. We're not even the hated minority yet, and they're already saying that it's not even okay to say it's okay to be white. And if you look at the stats, they make it seem like it's blonde hair, like that girl said, blonde hair, blue-eyed brats. But really, I think she's just simping and probably wants white guys or is looking for simps. But blonde hair, blue-eyed people are like a small minority in the world, like 2%, like another 2% group.
Redheads are even smaller. And like we had our national police force had an investigation because somebody was posting. I don't know, maybe it was Winnipeg. I can't remember where. Was it Winnipeg? I think we were accused. We were saying AJ. Derek, I was like, AJ, was this you? It's okay to be white posters. And the federal police launched an investigation into a hate crime. How is saying it's okay to be white a hate crime? Against who? Who is this victimizing exactly?
We have had
such a brilliant
list. A whole list basically targeting Rage could speak to better on this than what I could, is a whole list of things basically targeting white Christian males in the army and trying to eliminate the right-wing type of thinking. Actually, our own government just came out and said they're going to use the army as a propaganda wing against its own citizens.
They're starting a new unit to use its psychological warfare division again to influence Canadians to have the proper attitudes. That was published in national newspapers. That's fine, apparently. Our own defense minister, who is a scumbag and a liar and a stolen valor, a piece of human garbage that deserves the worst possible fate. He the position for his assistant defense minister, so he'd be like your whatever you guys have in the States, the Joint Chiefs or something, has to for requirements for the job to apply must be BIPOC, must be Black, Indigenous, person of color, no whites allowed. That's, if you want to talk about systemic racism, that's systemic racism. You're excluding an entire group of people based entirely on their ethnicity, white people. BIPOC is everybody that isn't white. It's not even like you have to be Asian or you have to be an Indian. No, just this group, which is everybody but you. And that's fine. No one has a problem with that. It's crazy. Like, things are so far gone. And we're the crazy people to say there's any kind of, group or conspiracy or any like that we're under attack or we're being, oppressed or pressured at all. It's bonkers. What did that article say?
Mhm.
The white, it's bonkers. It's completely bananas. No, that never would happen. That's crazy talk. Is it?
Yeah, fellow white people. It's not happening, fellow
Yeah.
white people. We all need to sulk in
Fellow
our
Irish
white
people.
guilt. Kevin
Yeah,
McDonald's
God.
book, Culture Critique. I don't know if you guys have read that, but he does a good job explaining the kind of the secular group evolutionary strategy of the people that are behind a lot of these immigration policies and this agenda. And of course, there's the religious aspect. Did you guys happen to see that Amalek video that I put up a couple weeks ago? Have you heard me talk about Amalek at all? And
No, I don't know.
No.
That's what kind of brought everything together for me was your work on I keep calling him Yaakov because I hear the Jewish guys keep calling him that, but Yaakov and Esav.
Yeah.
Your work, your videos on that is what brought everything together for me. I'm like, holy shit, this is why they're doing it. Now it's justifying us being a lesser person, lesser DNA, or a DNA that's predisposed to want to kill them, and then they're justified to wiping us out. It's what brought why they're doing it to all white nations.
Amalek, they consider, and Edom, which are kind of synonymous, they consider the new Rome, the Christian West, and they believe in the end times they must be destroyed. Wipe out the memory that they ever existed. We see all of the statues coming down. They're making lists of all the anti-Semitic statues throughout European history to come down. They're rewriting all of the historical figures and even mythical figures in European history, and they're putting the people of color to play them in new Hollywood reboots. Like, they know what they're doing.
Oh, wow.
The
So have you got
Kalergi
any
plan and the
t-shirts made up that
advertisements.
say Amalek on them?
Yeah,
What?
people in the chat are saying about the Last Battle, the documentary no one's allowed to talk about, or also immediately super banned. Yeah, don't watch that. And with the statues, and they touch on this in that documentary. If you haven't seen it, it's on BitChute. The statue thing, like, it would be one thing if this has never happened before, but it has happened many times. And first they destroy the statues, then they destroy the people.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've now leveled up to statue removal and censorship, hate speech, gag order laws, and disarming populations and taking, like, we know where this goes.
Censorship leads to genocide.
Past behavior is the best indicator of future behavior. And every time this happened in the past, well, we went down that road of, a bloodbath. So, I'm very concerned that's where we're going to happen again. And they will say that I'm crazy. Like, well, if your wife cheated on you, 6 times before, every time she goes to, Mexico, and she's going to Mexico again this Christmas, and you're like, I think she's going to cheat on me. You're crazy. You're just a crazy person. Like, again, with the gaslighting, and and they wonder why we're so angry.
You've been kicked out of 109 parties, and it's the people at the party, or 109 schools, and it's just everybody else at the schools. That's
you're all just so full of hatred.
There really is no.
Yeah,
I mean, I hate people that hate me, and I hate evil, and I hate psychopathic
Corruption.
agendas. But I don't want to
Liars.
rule over other people. I don't want to subvert and have people serve me and exploit and that kind of stuff. I think all that's awful. That's them. They're the ones that are inverting and projecting everything.
Yeah, we're not advocating for any of this stuff. We're pointing it out, and we're the bad guys for pointing it out. Noticing things as racist. I forgot before I was banned for life from Twitter, there was a guy that followed me on there. His name was the Anti-Noticing League.
Mm-hmm.
I still laugh about that to this day. Noticing things as racist. He's part of the Anti-Noticing League.
And I have friends, and I get emails, and I see comments, and I hear from people of all backgrounds, all types of colors, who recognize what's going on. I mean, you'd have to be. You'd have to just want it to happen and ignore it, or you have to be retarded to not see what's happening, because they are just going full mask off at this point.
No, that's true. I've actually been able to have better dialogues with Muslims and people of different countries and stuff like that, Syria, because of my knowledge on this now. Again, mostly thanks to you.
And that's a big, they go really far out of the way to make sure we fight each other as often as possible and stick us, it's like putting the ants in a jar and shaking them up so they fight each other. Because imagine that if the Islamic faith and our team got together and goes, well, yeah, we don't really get along, but there's another guy around this town that fucks with both of us a lot.
Yeah.
Imagine what would happen if we're like, let's just
tends to happen in jail quite a bit to keep the peace.
They fear this too. They're scared of this.
Yep. Yeah, and they should be, because I'd be willing to make that. I mean, it could be done. I mean, I don't imagine all these people that were jammed over here from Syria. Like, wouldn't you rather Syria and Libya and Iraq and all these to not be bombed into oblivion? Wouldn't you rather be back in your homeland with your family intact, alive, with your children alive? I would rather that. I'm sure if it would me, I would. Wouldn't they rather that? Wouldn't it be amazing if we were like, hey, let's just work together to fix this and get rid of the third party that's in here, making everybody fight each other and profit off of it like a parasite this entire time.
They destroy their homelands, and then they entice them and try to persuade them that the best thing they can do is go into European countries, and they provide incentives for it as well.
It's the same people,
and pathways and everything else. Like all of the NGOs are coming out of Israel, and because they're non-government and private organizations, and what do you call them? Non-profit organizations. They can't be held responsible for a lot of the things that they're doing.
Yeah,
they know the game inside and out, don't they? Like, they know the international laws, where they get caught and where they can be in trouble. So. We're at the disadvantage. We don't know these laws. We're still beholden by borders and being nationalistic. They're not. They don't believe in nations.
Obviously, we're going to fight. Like Western countries, Western culture, and our people are obviously going to have conflict and fight with Muslims from Muslim countries, because we believe different things. We have different cultural norms, and we don't believe in polygamy or honor killings or these kinds of. I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but you get the idea. Obviously, that's going to happen. As I used to use an analogy, I'd say, like, if you're a sheep farmer, and you keep finding wolves are eating your sheep, that's a problem. You should deal with these wolves. But when you find out that someone has cut your fence deliberately to let these wolves in, you should find out who did that and deal with that, so it doesn't keep happening. Otherwise, you're just going to keep finding and killing wolves all the time, trying to keep your sheep alive. You know what I mean? This isn't organic. Like the Taliban and ISIS and Al Qaeda, they didn't sail their camels across the Atlantic Ocean and smuggle all these people in here on their own. Nope.
They say it means Moshiach is coming, and it's a good thing.
Is it?
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. I'm happy to finally get you guys on. It's been in the works for a while. Plaid Army, plaidarmy.com. You guys are both on DLive, YouTube. All the links will be below. I appreciate you coming on and chat with me on the show today. Any final parting words before we wrap it up here? Final plugs?
The 4 words. We want Moshiach now. I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens this week. Yeah. Quick Job beat me to it.
Yeah. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen in the next week, and then maybe the next term of Trump? Your quick summary version of it.
Yeah. Well, we clearly know they're stealing it. There's no way to hide that. Trump's going to go through the legal, the loopholes to challenge it and do everything that needs to be done that way. The Democrats are going to fight it. And then are they either going to all get rounded up and arrested, and are we going to go into, some scary, overbearing, government boot time, or is it going to be civil war? Is the left going to launch, some kind of massive civil unrest, city burning campaign with the help of the Chinese?
Will they start? They've already been doing it. It's will they stop should be the question.
Well, that's it. I think we just constantly have been accelerating this whole time, and I think at this point we're only doing 60. We got a lot more to go, and things are going to start coming at us a lot faster, and we won't be able to keep up. Things aren't going to slow down from here. They're just going to continue to increase, and what we're watching right now is probably a breather compared to what's coming in the future. So have your house in order. That's all I can say.
I remember 4 years ago, the 2016 election was so crazy. I was like, wow, just imagine what it's going to look like 4 years from now. And then if we make it through through another term, and the tech transfer to Israel and their Abraham Accords and the anti-Semitism crackdown, the anti-white narrative intensifying, we are really we are in for some a rocky road. Buckle your seatbelts. It's like a dystopian end times.
Batten down the hatches.
Yeah,
it's like watching a pot full of nitroglycerin just bubble over.
Yeah,
it's getting more and more violent by the minute. You're just waiting for it to explode.
It's like a powder keg about to explode. Exactly.
Globally. Yeah.
All right, guys, everybody, thanks for watching. Thank you, Plaid Army, for joining me. I'll have to talk to you guys again very soon. Let us know what you think on BitChute. Give us a thumbs up, share, follow, knowmorenews.org, BitChute, DLive, and I will see you guys all again very soon. Take